Joan, and tonight I want to talk about visitations from spirit, especially when we begin to have visitations and experiences with spirit for the first time, and also the emerging of new gifts and new ways of communicating that are beyond our norm that often come up during the awakening process. Once our energy shifts, our vibration raises, and the veil between dimensions drop, we suddenly see things in a whole different way. We see things as they really are. And we see past this 3D life that we used to think was all that exists. And now we begin to see that there's so much more. And this is a great topic. It's come up recently in the group, and I was surprised at how many people were experiencing this, and especially specifically talking about visitations at night from about 3 to 5 in the morning, which is when spirit often likes to visit, I think, because it's so quiet. That the energy field is quiet, the physical world is quiet, and it's much easier to get through to us and reach us. And so sometimes you may wake up in the middle of the night and sense a presence in your room, see a presence in your room, hear a presence in your room that is talking with you. And it can be really frightening, especially the first time it happens, because you don't really know what's going on. You wonder if you're still dreaming. And sometimes the images, even when the images are benign or pleasant, it can still be frightening because we're not sure what's happening. And if they aren't very pleasant and seem more aggressive, then it's definitely frightening. And we can start to feel like we're losing our minds. We question our sanity. We question if we're making all of this up, if there's something wrong with us, if, we have a mental imbalance or a chemical imbalance. And it can make us feel really uneasy. It can make us feel really alone, and it can make us feel really vulnerable. But it can also be really exciting at the same time because these new experiences feel true. There's a whole different energy to them that feels like the missing link in a lot of ways. And sometimes it is the missing link. Sometimes these spirits come to us with information to communicate something that we need to know that we had forgotten. And other times it's just to show us that there is so much beyond this 3D reality that we live in. And sometimes when the images are scary, it's important to remember that what we see, what comes to us, is not completely separate from us because we live in both dimensions or all dimensions, but right now I'm talking about like the 3D and the 5D, but we live in both dimensions at the same time. And so these images aren't separate from us. And so what we are feeling and what is in our subconscious affects the images that we see. So if we feel afraid, often the images become scary and frightening or dark. And we feel even more afraid because we are interacting, we are influencing them, we're not separate from them. And so often we think that dark forces are coming in and attacking us, and that can be true. I believe that there can be dark energy, but I think that most often than not, it is our own energy influencing what we see. And this is something that I learned with plant medicine and then experimented with it, when I wasn't using plant medicine and having these interactions, that the energy I bring to the situation is what impacts the energy that I'm seeing, receiving, and communicating with. And so I think one of the questions was, if we live in a benevolent universe, then why do we have these dark images and these heavy images? And I think the answer is because it's reflecting the darkness, the shadow in ourselves that's wanting to be cleaned and cleared. And so, getting back to the plant medicine, I learned that I could easily change the images that I was receiving, the visions that were coming, simply by questioning. Okay, there's a frightening image that came up. I would just question, like, is this real? And as soon as I would ask that question, it would immediately change to a much more helpful, benevolent, light filled image with purpose. And so then I took that into my experiences with spirit, and I found the same thing happening on a day to day basis. And so, especially in the beginning, we do find that there can be very frightening images that come up. We have no idea where they're coming from. And it's hard to say, are they coming from past lives? Are they coming from things we've experienced in this life? Are they coming from other people? All of that is possible. And so allowing those to clear out, also allowing it to show us where we have work to do on our shadow self, but not attaching to them. And so I would suggest, if you have an encounter that is frightening, that you just ask, is this real? Show me the truth of who you are. And then you will see, um, what the truth is, because you're moving past that subconscious and moving towards truth, asking for the truth. And so this can be a really empowering way to understand how much power we have in this situation. That it is a communication, and a two-way communication, and it's not just a presence coming and enforcing their will on us. And remembering that it's just energy, like we're just energy. And so we're safe in that energy realm, and that we can also ask for it to leave. If we don't like it there, we have every right to ask it to leave. And so all of these tools are to empower you and to help you move out of the fear. Um, and let's see, what else did I want to tell you about this? I'm seeing this message from Sarah. Her dog passed away last week. He'd been seeing spirits in the apartment. Yes. And struggling with the idea that spiritual work attracted the spirits as part of why he had a heart attack. Oh, good question. So dogs definitely see spirits quite often. I don't think your spiritual work attracted the spirits in. Something that I learned with being with people as they were passing is that spirits sometimes start to leave their body even weeks before they pass away. And so it's possible that it was spirits that were already attached to your dog that were leaving and filling the room. Or it can just be energy coming and going. It's hard to say. But I would caution you to not feel guilty about that one, because there's so many different possibilities. And your spiritual work, when you are heart centered and moving for the highest good of all, is not going to attract negative spirits into your space. And dogs are very much aware of whether it's heavy or light. And so, anyway, I also send my love to you for the passing of your dog, because I know that's a hard one. So, if this is something that you're working with, if there's also other gifts that are coming up for you at this time, whether it's you suddenly are hearing spirits talk to you, you're knowing things that you just know are true and you didn't know before, you're feeling different sensations, you're communicating with people who have passed. If you're getting these new gifts that are coming and you're having a really hard time figuring out what to do with them, how to use them in a way that is safe and authentic and not taken over by the ego, then if you would like some help with this process, then please reach out to me, send me a private message, and we can talk and see if I can help you with the work that I do with my clients. If you have any questions, leave them here, And there's one more question from Milo. What is the influx of spirits? Not sure exactly what you mean by that. So if you want to type in more information, that would be great. But I think maybe you're asking is like, why do they suddenly start coming in um, a lot as opposed to they weren't there and then all of a sudden there's a whole bunch coming in to your life? It could be that there is a message for you that they're trying to communicate with you. They want you to know something. It could be that they're helping you wake up a part of yourself that's been asleep for a long time, an awareness of these other realms that you've been closed off to. And so these spirits are coming into your life to help you remember those gifts and that way of communicating with the world around us. There's a lot of different reasons, but those I would say were the main two. So I hope that answered your question. And if not, you can leave more here, and I can write an answer later if I can help you, if I know what the answer is, or if I have some sort of inkling. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I think that's all the questions. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for doing your work and just really being present with your process, and sending so much love to you all. Have a great night.